Thank you, Gary. It's a treat to be with you here this morning. The NSF was very helpful for me in providing data for the book, so I'm glad to have a chance to pay back. It is true, my book was actually the #1 selling album on iTunes 10 days ago. If you don't think that got me juice with my teenage daughters, okay, you don't know what's important to teenagers. That was a lot of fun. What I'm going to do this morning is to give you actually, some of you have read the book. I'm sure those of you who haven't. I know who you are. I know where you live. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you just a real quick summary of the thesis, and then share with you actually, when I agreed to do this 6 months ago, I really wasn't thinking about this, but I'm actually working on the 2.0 version of the book right now. And we're going to completely reissue the hardback in April, an expanded and updated version. Doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it now. Because I've been thinking about the subject. I wrote this book in 9 months, and from idea to delivery, and a lot of the joints weren't soldered together as tightly as I would have liked, and more importantly, I've learned a lot from engagements like this. And one of the things I'm specifically focused on, in fact, right now, is exactly the subject of this meeting. And that is basically what will be the jobs of the new middle class, and therefore how do we need to change education to prepare people for the new middle class in the flat world. So what I'm going to do is give you just a quick update on or summary of the core thesis of the book, and then try to address that second half. And I really look forward to being able to engage in a dialogue with you. The meta-thesis of this book is very simple. The meta-thesis is that there have been 3 great era of globalization, I argue. The first is globalization 1.0. It lasted from 1492 until about 1820, which was the beginning of global arbitrage. And globalization 1.0 shrunk the world from size large to size medium. And that era of globalization was defined by the fact that you went global through your country. That is, the dynamic agent of globalization and globalization 1.0 was the country. It was Spain exploring the New World, Britain colonizing India, Portugal, East Asia. You went global through your country. Globalization 2.0 lasted from the early 1820s till the year 2000. That's right, it just ended. And that era of globalization shrunk the world from size medium to size small. And that era of globalization, I argue, was built around the company. That is, you went global through your company, companies searching for markets and for labor. While you were sleeping, or certainly while I was sleeping, it's the argument of this book, we entered globalization 3.0 from the year 2000 to the present. And what is unique about this era of globalization is that it's shrinking the world from size small to size tiny, and at the same time flattening the global economic playing field. So more people than ever can plug and play, compete, connect, and collaborate. But what's really new, unique, exciting, challenging, and cool about this era of globalization is that it's not built around countries, and it's not built around companies. What is utterly differentiating about this era of globalization is the degree to which it empowers, enables, and enjoins individuals to globalize themselves. That is the truly unique thing about this era. What is new and unique and exciting and challenging is the degree to which it requires and enables individuals to think of themselves as competing globally against other individuals and to globalize themselves. Now, very quickly, the second chapter of the book, which is really a third of the book, was my attempt to explain how did this happen? How did this flat platform get created? And the second chapter of the book is called The 10 Days, Forces, and Events That Flattened the World. And it's my argument that these 10 forces, days, events, and technologies are what converged to create, right around the year 2000, this new flattened playing field. And I think of the flat world as a platform. Now, I'll go through them very quickly. The first flattener, each one is built around a date. So the first is built around the date 11/9. Not 9/11, 11/9. Thanks to a wonderful accident of dates, the Berlin Wall came down on 11/9, November 9th, 1989. And so I call this first flattener when the walls came down and the windows came up. Because thanks to another wonderful accident, the Windows operating system shipped 5 months after the fall of the Berlin Wall. So those two things happened at the same time. And they were a huge, and my first flattener. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a huge flattener because it allowed us to actually think about the world as a single flat plane. Now, if we were to go back into NSF documents, I'm sure before 1989, we'd find the NSF talking about companies and countries, northern policies and southern policies, their eastern policies and their western policies. But nobody had a global policy, because you couldn't, because there was a wall in the way. And so the fall of the wall was a hugely important flattener because it allowed us to actually think about the world for the first time as a single flat plane. The rise of the Windows, which for me is the Windows-enabled PC, was a huge flattener, coterminous with this, because the Windows-enabled PC is at the bottom. It is the core DNA that starts this whole era of individual globalization. Because the Windows-enabled PC allowed each of us, as individuals, to become authors of our own content in digital form. Oh, we've been authors of our own content since cave women and cave men scrawled and painted on cave walls. But what the Windows-enabled PC allowed was for individuals to become authors of their own content, words, data, spreadsheets, photos, and video in digital form. And once your content was in digital form, that had manifold implications about who you could share it with and how you could manipulate it. And that leads to the second flattener. Second flattener is 8/9/95, August 9th, 1995, which I consider to be possibly the second most important date in your lifetime. If 9/11 or 11/9 were the first, the second most important date in our lifetime is 8/9/95. Because on August 9th, 1995, a small startup company in Mountain View, California, called Netscape went public. And the world has never been the same since. Netscape was a flattener for two fundamental reasons. The first was that Netscape brought the internet alive. Oh yes, the internet existed before, I don't have to tell the people in this room, but it was the province of geeks and computer scientists. What Netscape did was give us the first commercial internet browser, and it was the browser. This wonderful device to illustrate on computer screens all the content locked away in people's computers and future websites. It was the browser which brought the internet to life and made it a tool of connectivity, that more people would suddenly be able to connect with more other people, that grandma and grandpa could use, and grandson and granddaughter with equal facility. Netscape brought the internet to life. But secondly, and in many ways even more importantly, it was Netscape's going public at 9 a.m. on the morning of 8/9/95 that triggered the dot-com boom. And that triggered the dot-com bubble. And that triggered the accidental, absurd, ridiculous, outrageous, utterly insane overinvestment of $1 trillion in 5 years into fiber optic cable. And it was that insane, absurd, ridiculous, utterly outrageous investment of $1 trillion in fiber optic cable undersea and over land that accidentally, without anybody planning it, made Bethesda, Beijing, Boston, and Bangalore all next-door neighbors. That ridiculous overinvestment in fiber optic cable drove down the cost of transmitting all our digital content that we were creating anywhere in the world to virtually free. Now, you remember how it happened? Netscape went public on the morning of 8/9/95 at 9 a.m., priced at $28. Morgan Stanley wanted it to be a $32 stock, but Jim Barksdale, Netscape's CEO, said, no, in case this fails, I want it to be remembered as a $20 stock. Netscape opened that morning at $72. It closed the first day at $56. And we all looked at that and we said, whoa, there is gold over them there hills. And what did we do? We all went out and we bought Lucent, and we bought Nextel, and we bought Global Crossing, and we bought JDS Uniphase. Well, you can't fool me. I know it's in your 401ks. Okay. And when we did, we accidentally funded the overwiring of the whole world. Now, we did this 100 years ago with railroads in this country. Same kind of boom, same kind of bubble. And when we did, guess what? We overbuilt the railroads in this country, and as a result, we accidentally knitted America together, and we all got to ride for free. But when we overinvested in fiber optic cable, India, China, Russia, and Brazil all got to ride for free. The third flattener I simply call workflow software. Workflow software is my summary for all the stuff, all the software that connected all those people with their digital content and all that Netscape provided bandwidth. Now, as I don't have to tell, I'm sure the people in this room, many people don't realize outside of this room, there was a quiet revolution in software between the years 1995 and 1999. Before then, if we went back to the National Science Foundation, they probably got computers sometime in the 80s. They thought that was really cool because they computerized their personnel department and they computerized their budget and payroll department. And both departments were so much more efficient once they got computers and software. There was just one problem. Payroll and budgeting were running SAP. And personnel was running Novell. And they didn't connect. So whenever there was an issue between personnel and payroll and budgeting, someone from personnel used to walk over with a piece of paper to payroll and budgeting. From the mid to late 1990s, there was a revolution in software thanks to the invention of protocols like HTML and HTTP and XML and SOAP that basically made virtually everyone's software interoperable. And when my software can connect with your software, when I can sit at home and do e-banking or e-commerce or e-editing or e-writing, and I don't have to think for 1 second, what machine am I on? What software am I running? What machine are you on? What software are you running? What that meant was suddenly all of us could work together on more stuff. Suddenly we could become collaborators. Now, when you take these first three flatteners together, the ability of individuals to become authors of their own content in digital form, and then their ability to send that digital content anywhere for free, and then their ability to work collaboratively on their digital content and others through interoperable software, what that produced was the platform, the genesis moment for the flat world. Happened sometime in the late 1990s. Suddenly we woke up one morning and discovered we had a crude platform for multiple forms of collaboration. More people could suddenly collaborate with more other people on more stuff from more places for less money, than ever before. The first time we started to get an inkling of it, of course, was Y2K, when we discovered we needed a massive number of computers to be remediated for the Y2K problem, and we had it done in Bangalore. That was because of this platform. Now, the next 6 flatteners, I said there were 10, are the 6 new forms of collaboration that immediately sprung off this platform and came back and flattened the world even more. They are, very quickly, the first is outsourcing. Now the NSF, if it wants, can take this platform and outsource its budgeting and bookkeeping department to North Bethesda, North Dakota, or North Bangalore. once China joins the World Trade Organization. Third new form of collaboration I call uploading. This is a term coined by Kevin Kelly. Not just uploading, but uploading in this context. And uploading may be the most revolutionary aspect of this new platform. When the world was round, you downloaded. You wanted software, you downloaded software. When the world is flat and you've got this platform for collaboration, individuals, as you all know, can now upload their own software, called the open source movement. Open source is simply a form of uploading. A bunch of geeks sitting at home writing the next great operating system, Linux, for free. They are uploading it, not downloading it. Why do they do it? Many do it because they hate Microsoft. Okay. Many do it because they hate Microsoft. Many others do it, though, because, again, as you all know, they love the pure, peer-reviewed science of it. Look at this new algorithm. You got to try this patch. This is so cool. Okay. You got to be a geek to appreciate that, okay? And how much that drives open source. But for whatever reason they're doing it, it's a whole new form of collaboration. I mean, how would you like to be Bill Gates? How would you like to be Bill Gates, actually? I mean, all these years your whole model was you use the cache hoard from Windows to undercut any competitors on price, and then suddenly along come these competitors and they're selling their product for free. It's hard to beat free. Those of you who follow Firefox or use the Mozilla Firefox browser may not know, but Firefox was produced by a 19-year-old at Stanford in collaboration with a 24-year-old in New Zealand who never met. The month it was uploaded, it was downloaded 10 million times the first month. It took 5% of the Microsoft Explorer market in 30 days. It was uploaded. Another form of uploading is blogging. Hey, in the old days when the world was round, if you wanted an opinion on foreign affairs, you had to download some fuddy-duddy like me. Not anymore. You want an opinion on world affairs? You'll upload your own blog. Maybe it'll be your opinion. Maybe it'll be the opinion of an Iraqi blogger, a French blogger, an American soldier blogger. Blogging, whole new form now of uploading. Third new form of uploading is Wikipedia. It's collaborative content producing. Wikipedia, the people's encyclopedia. You remember the old days, the Encyclopedia Britannica salesman would come to the house, have all those books, and show you 24 volumes. Then we got Encarta. Oh, with Encarta, we thought that was really cool. You could download your own encyclopedia. Well, now the people are uploading in open source their own encyclopedia. It's called Wikipedia. People send in definitions, other people correct them. And it's pretty cool. Because you know how many entries there are in Encarta? There are 63,000 entries in Encarta. You thought that was really neat. This morning, when I left the house, there were 723,000 entries in Wikipedia. This is becoming so important, the People's Encyclopedia that is being uploaded, that IBM has assigned a company officer whose only job now is to monitor the IBM definitions in Wikipedia. Because more people are going to learn about IBM through Wikipedia than anywhere else. So, whole new form of uploading. And lastly, of course, podcasting. And this is going to be a monster. You can now upload your own voice and video. As I said when I started, this book was the #1 selling podcast album on iTunes last week. But here's what's really scary. When I started this book, and I wrote it really fast, in March of 2004, podcasting did not exist. So I went from a technology that did not exist to one that has become a hugely important vehicle through which I'm now selling this book. It went from 0 to 60 between the time I put pen to paper on this book and today. It's going to be a monster. So these are all revolutionary forms of uploading. The fourth new form of collaboration I call supply chaining. Supply chaining is what Walmart does. That's where you take an item off a shelf in a Walmart in Maryland, and another copy of that item is immediately made in Shenzhen, China, and then sent back up the supply chain at a level of efficiency that is incredibly flattening. If Walmart were a country today, it would be China's 8th largest trading partner, ahead of Canada, Russia, and Australia. So we are talking about a supply chain the likes of which the world has never seen before. I have a friend, Yossi Sheffi, teaches supply chain logistics at MIT, and Yossi likes to say, you know, Tom, making stuff, oh hell, that's easy. That's so overrated. Supply chain, now that's really hard. Think about it. Walmart today is the biggest company in America, and it doesn't make a single thing. It makes a supply chain down to the last atom of efficiency. It's a huge flattener. Fifth new form of collaboration I call insourcing. Insourcing is what UPS does. You know those people in the funny brown shorts with the funny brown trucks? If you think all they're doing is delivering packages, you are not paying attention. What UPS does is come into your company right up to headquarters, right up to your neck, and take over your entire internal logistics. So you have a Toshiba laptop. It breaks one day. You go to the warranty. It says, take your Toshiba laptop to the UPS store, tell them what's wrong, they'll send it to us, we'll have it back to you in 72 hours. Here's what you don't know. Your Toshiba laptop goes from the UPS store to the UPS hub at Louisville Airport in Louisville, Kentucky, where in an airline hangar, in a clean room, your Toshiba laptop is repaired by a UPS employee in funny brown shorts. It never touches Toshiba's hands. They are not interested. They have insourced that completely to UPS. So insourcing, whole new form of collaboration. There are thousands of companies today, friends, who don't touch their products anymore. They have been completely insourced to FedEx, DHL, and UPS. These are actually logistics companies. That's what they do. The sixth new form of collaboration I simply call informing. Informing is search. It's Google, it's Yahoo. I can now collaborate with data all by myself. I can inform myself as an individual to a depth we've never seen before in the history of the world. Informing, whole new form of collaboration. Now just to summarize, we have the first three. They create this platform for multiple forms of collaboration. Then we have the next six new forms of collaboration: outsourcing, offshoring, uploading, supply chaining, insourcing, and informing. That's 9. I said there were 10. What's the 10th? The 10th I simply call the steroids. The steroids. And the steroids are voice over the internet, wireless, file sharing, and instant messaging. And what these steroids are doing is turbocharging all 9 of these other forms of collaboration. So now I can do any one from anywhere with any device, totally mobily. Those are, I argue, the 10 forces that flatten the world. Now very quickly, and I tie this up in the next chapter, which is called the triple convergence. What I basically argue is that right around the year 2000, there were 3 huge convergences that happened that fundamentally changed the world. The first convergence is that all 10 of these flatteners converged, and the complementarities between them all started to work together. So the informing helped the outsourcing helped the offshoring helped the supply chaining helped the uploading, and suddenly all 10 of these flatteners started to work together at a tipping point. And when they did, you woke up and you said, you know what? Something feels new. And what you were feeling, I would argue, is that we had created, without anybody planning it, a global web-enabled platform for multiple forms of sharing knowledge work, entertainment, and innovation, irrespective of time, distance, geography, and increasingly even language. That is what I mean when I say we've flattened the world. I mean we have created this incredible platform for multiple forms of collaborating on knowledge work, entertainment, and innovation. It is the simple argument of this book that this platform is going to be at the center of everything. We're going from a world where value is created in vertical silos of command and control to a world where value will be increasingly created on this platform by who you connect and collaborate with. We are going from vertical to horizontal. I argue this is going to change everything. This is going to be the mother of all inflection points. What you are feeling is what it felt like for someone who was born a few years after Gutenberg invented the printing press. It's going to change everything. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but over the next decade. We are going from vertical to horizontal. And wealth in the future is going to go to those countries, those companies, those universities, those counties, and those individuals who get three things right. The bandwidth to connect to this platform, the education to get more of their people innovating on, off, and in collaboration with this platform, and lastly, the governance to manage the society and politics and disparities around this platform. Those are the three things that are going to determine your wealth as a country, a company, a county, a university, or an individual. Now, very quickly, the second convergence is that we're all now learning to change our habits to move from thinking vertically to thinking horizontally. And that's a huge change. It'll take time. It'll take time to change how buildings are designed, how management is implemented, how workers relate to one another and to their superiors. This is a huge change of habits to adjust to this platform. I got an insight into this while I was working on the book. When I was visiting my daughter, who goes to university in New Haven, Connecticut, while I was working on the book in March of 2004. And I was going to take her a couple bags of spring clothes and to visit her. And I don't know many of you have ever tried to get from Bethesda to New Haven, but it's a complete pain in the ass. You have to drive 40 minutes to Baltimore Airport, then take Southwest Airlines from Baltimore to Hartford, and then drive an hour from Hartford to New Haven. No matter, I'm a Southwest fan. I like flying Southwest. Don't know many of you have flown Southwest, but as you may know, you don't get a reserved seat on Southwest. You just get a ticket that says A, B, or C. A's board first, B's board second, C's board last. There's only one thing you need to know about Southwest Airlines. You don't want to be a C on Southwest Airlines. And you don't even want to be a B if you're carrying 2 bags of clothes for your daughter. You want to have room left above the seat and not get stuck in the middle. No matter, I'm a hip guy, so I did the e-ticket thing. Arranged an e-ticket ahead of time. But I got to Southwest's desk at BWI Baltimore Airport 45 minutes ahead of time, 95 minutes ahead of time, just to make sure I was going to be an A. 95 minutes, I knew there was no way anyone was going to beat me. I stuck my credit card into the Southwest e-ticket machine, and out came my ticket, and it said B. And I said, son of a, this thing is fixed, this is rigged, this is worse than Las Vegas. I'm here 95 minutes before this flight. There is no way I'm a B. Ooh, I was mad. I got my Cinnabon and sat in the back of the B line, stewing. Well, 45 minutes went by, and then they called the flight. And then I saw it. All the A's seemed to be getting on, carrying what looked to me like just crumpled white home printer paper, as though they had gone online at 12:01 a.m. the night before and downloaded and printed out their own barcodes and boarding passes. Well, what I didn't realize was Southwest Airlines, taking advantage of that new platform, had just begun a program where any customer could go online at 12:01 a.m. the night before a flight and download at home on their own home printer their boarding pass and boarding card and become an A. I looked at that, friends. I said, Friedman, you are so 20th century. You are so globalization 2.0. I mean, really, think about it. In globalization 1.0, there is a ticket agent. I used to have to go down to the United Airlines ticket office on K-Street, pull a number, stand in line, do what the lady, there's my itinerary, thank you very much. Then we got the e-ticket machine. We thought that was cool. And while you were sleeping, you, the individual, became your own ticket agent. Or to look at it another way, you, the individual, became an employee of Southwest Airlines. Or to look at it still another way, if you happen to value your own time, staying up at 12:01 a.m. the night before, you are now paying Southwest Airlines to be their employee.